Our brain is wired to forget. If you study something today and do not revise it within a week, you will remember less than half of it. It isn't just about how much you study, but how effectively you revise it. You might have read a topic once or twice, but if you don't revise it properly, chances are that you will forget half of it during the exam. In this video, I will be telling you 3 steps in which you can do your revision effectively. First, you need to have notes. Now, during your revision, you cannot go back and read the entire chapter. It is very time consuming and you will not be able to remember everything. Everything is not important. Some points are repeatedly asked in the exam and some have never been asked. And that is the key. By analyzing the past year topics and the MCQs that have been asked, you understand that from one particular chapter, what are the important topics. And through that, you understand what needs to be revised. And that information is something that needs to be revised again and again. So during your revision, you need not go through the entire chapter. That should be done in the first reading. But in the revision, you need to go through that concise version. You need to go through those notes. So it is extremely important to have notes. It will take time to make those notes, but it is going to be very effective. I'll show you how I had made my notes. For UVR in electrotherapy, these were the 2 pages that I had written. So these 2 pages have all the important points, and these were the only 2 pages that I revised for UVR. Now in Clayton, several pages are there for this chapter, but during the revision I went through only these 2 pages, and that is how effective the revision is. But it is important that you make the notes properly. It should have the important information. It should not be a copy paste of the textbook, because that will not help. And again, if you are writing the important points, it is crucial that you know what is important and you understand what has been asked in the exam. Second is using active recall technique. Now, simply sitting down and reading the notes will not help. What is required in the exam is when you go through an MCQ, you should be able to recall the information. And for effective recall, you need to study in that manner. If you just passively read the notes, you will not be able to recall that during the exam. For that, it is important that you use this active recall technique, in which every time whenever you sit down to study, before you read the notes, just remember whatever you can recall from your last revision. That helps in strengthening your memory. And after you are done with that, you now go through all that you couldn't remember. It will take a little bit of time and that will require effort, mental effort, but that is something that will strengthen your memory and you will be able to remember all that you have studied well, and the recall during the exam will be very fast. Last and the most important is solving MCQs for that particular topic. Now, this is something that most students skip. They will just read a topic and not solve MCQs for that particular topic. Whenever you have read a particular topic, at that time you just know, you have just read through that chapter. You really don't know if you will be able to apply that information when asked in the form of an MCQ. And that is the reason why you need to test yourself. And that should be done for every topic. Every topic from every subject should be revised in that manner, because when you solve MCQs, you come to know your knowledge gaps. You know if you have understood that concept or not.